Okay, so just a bit of revision on income tax and USC. So this is financial maths. Income tax then, it's at two rates and it's a government tax that has got the higher and the lower rate, or higher and standard rates. Okay, and then USC is an extra tax that was supposed to be temporary but was actually made a permanent tax, and it stands for Universal Social Charge. Okay, so we've got these two taxes, and there's actually a few others, but these are the two main ones that you'll be coming in contact with. So we've got a question here, and it says that John White, doesn't really matter what the name is, but he's a manager, earns $54,000 a year. We're told about his tax credit, his standard rate cutoff, and his standard rate and his higher rate. Okay, he pays USC, I have the table down below, and PRSI, which is an extra tax on his salary at the rate of 4%. So there's a lot going on there, but this is a good question to revise income tax, USC, PRSI, and a few other bits and pieces. Okay, so first of all, we need to calculate his income tax. So we're told that his salary is 54,000 and his standard rate cutoff is 36,000. So that means that he is paying his tax in two brackets. Okay, so he is 36,000 is his standard rate cutoff, and his total salary is 54,000, meaning he pays the first amount at 20%, that's the standard rate here, and then the higher rate of 40%. Okay, so the first part that he has to pay is 36,000 at 20%, so 36,000 times 0.2, which is 7,200. Okay, then to work out this next part, we need to find the difference between 36,000 and 54,000. So we do 54,000 minus 36,000, and we get left with 18,000. So we have 18,000, and that is taxed at 40%, so times 0.4, which gives us, again, 7,200. Okay, just by chance. But then to get his total income tax, you add the two of them together, and you'll get 14,400. Okay, and that is what we call the gross tax. So it's a lot of money, it's gross to have to pay it. So that's the total tax. But then we've also got this thing called the tax credit. So with the tax credit then, that's money you get back. So we take our 14,400, then we minus our tax credit back off it, and we will be left with 10,100 euro. Okay, and that can be called sometimes the net tax or the tax payable. Those are usually the words that are used for it. Okay, or just straight income tax. Okay, so that is how you calculate income tax when you're just given the amount. Now, the USC is done in a very similar way. Okay, except it's just in smaller numbers and bigger brackets, or smaller brackets. So here we see that his salary is 54,000 a year, so it's more than 12,000, it's more than 19,000, but it's less than 70,000. So it's fitting in right in this bracket, meaning you're going to have three tax brackets for him here. So we go from 0 up to 12,012, up to 19,874, all the way up to 54,000. All right, so then you've got your rates of USC. Okay, so we have 0.5% on the first part, we have 2% on the second part, and we have 4.5% on the third part. So, same as with income tax, we just need to calculate it that way. So, very straightforward, 12,012, 12012, times 0.005, just be careful when you're doing decimals for the percentages here, so I'll give you 60.06. Now, you'll need to do the subtractions here, so 19,874 minus 12,012 to get you that part, which will give you 7,862, and that will be taxed at 2%, giving you 157.24. And then your last part, again doing the subtractions, 54,000 minus 19,874, and that leaves him with 34,126 at 4.5%. So that will give you 1536.67. Right, and same as income tax, you're going to add the three of them together, and that will work out as €1,752, and 97 cents. So we've got his income tax, and then he's got his USC. Now, there was a third tax then involved in the third part, which is the PRSI. So it stands for pay-related social insurance, and in this question it's just a flat 4%. So very simply, 54,000 times 0.04, and that gives you your PRSI, which is €2,160. Right, so the next thing that it asked us then was what is his take-home pay. Okay, so take-home pay would be his salary. So we had his salary, which was 54,000, minus all the taxes. So we've got 3 taxes in this question, so we've just got to work that out. So his salary was 54,000. Now you've got to subtract the 3 taxes. So you just go back to parts 1, 2, and 3. So we've got his first tax was 10,100. So we subtract that off, minus 10,100. His second tax then was 1752.97. So minus 1752.97, and then also your 2160, minus 2160. 60. Now, when you've got that, you just subtract all of them together, and that will get you his take-home pay, which is €39,987.03. So you just get your salary, subtract all the taxes off, and that's how much money he's left with. Okay, so then you're just asked to express his take-home pay as a percentage of a salary. So remember, you just want to put the take-home pay, so that's 39,987.03, as a percentage of his salary. So you put it over his salary, 54,000, and then you will multiply it by 100 to get a percentage. So what that works out as is 74.05, and it's said to the nearest percentage, so 74%. So he gets his salary, but he ends up actually losing 26% of it to the government. So take that as you will. But yeah, that's the basic way of calculating these. Now, I have another one underneath here that you can try for yourself. So you're given Pamela's salary, her tax credit, cutoff point, and her income taxes, and the same USC and PRSI, PRSI at 4% again. Then her net salary per year and her take-home pay. So if you want to pause it now and try that question, and now I will put up the solution. Okay, so for income tax, same as before, get the two amounts here, and then add them together to get your final value. Okay, then USC, we'll go over here. We see again she's in that middle bracket, so she needs 3 brackets, and you've got to multiply them together down here. And finally, the PRSI at 4%, so simply her salary times 0.04. Yep, so then your net salary is her total salary minus her taxes, and then as a percentage of her salary, you get that amount. So 68.87%, you express one over the other times 100, and it works out as around 69%. So there's a nice question for you there. There is the question and the answer. It's probably quite small if you're looking at it on a phone, but there it is. There's quite a lot of work, but it's fairly methodical, fairly nice to do. And so if you just get used to doing it like this, yeah, you should be able to. Okay.